Hello everyone, this is Chris, and 1.18 is making some serious changes as to how the world generates and looks. And today I figured putting that to the test by comparing 1.17 seeds to the 1.18 experimental seeds. And even though there's almost guaranteed going to be some changes from now to full release, it'll at least give us a general idea as to how seeds and worlds will look like in the full version. And I figured we start off with one of Bedrock's most popular seeds, the infinite repeating seed, which is that right there, those numbers. And yeah, to just get a general idea of what we should be looking for, there's a village roundabout near spawn, and spawn is a roundabout near 0, but one of the big things about, this infinite repeating seed is the fact that literally every single thing repeats. Trees, roses, flowers, and ravines, which is what we'll be checking out too. And I guess we could get a general idea as to where the stronghold is too. So the nearest one is at 578, 334. Okay, I gotta remember that when we check that out in the beta. But more importantly, I gotta remember to check out that thing in the distance, the infinite repeating ravine seed, which has basically one ravine, but basically spawns roughly right next to it, which allows it to spawn in infinitely. So will we be seeing something like this in the Caves and Cliffs Part 2 generation, or will we see something completely different? There's only one way to find out, and that's by typing in the exact same seed, loading in with the experimental Caves and Cliffs toggle in, and actually loading into the world, seeing if anything is the same or if everything is completely different. And straight away, I'm already noticing a few differences to our spawn. Before, our spawn was around about -0, and that's still roughly the same, though I do think it has been moved by the fact that we now have this huge ocean. We now have a forest, which, yeah, we had a forest before, but more, I guess, in line, or more, surrounding us. But, okay, it does look like, though, that there still seems to be some repeating elements to this seed. It looks as though, we still get repeating trees and things, which is a good thing to know. It's still good to know that that this seed still does repeats, but more importantly, before the caves would actually go to repeat as well. So maybe we ought to find a good cave system and actually see what that looks like in its repeating form. Huh, well, this is actually very interesting. It looks as though some of these mega caves or spaghetti caves don't seem to be repeating, which is kind of strange, because I do remember that back in the 1.17 version that all cave systems repeated, but I guess because these mega caves are, I guess, too big, probably, they don't need to repeat. But I guess one of the big things we should really check out is, first off, the Stronghold location, and then that infinite ravine generation. Huh, it's actually different, unless that's a different stronghold we're locating at. What if we were to teleport at the original Stronghold location and then do the command there? Okay, this is where the original Stronghold was in the 1.17 version, and if we do the locate Stronghold thing again, no, it looks as though the Stronghold has completely moved along with every single other thing in the seed. But again, the big selling point was that infinite ravine generation, and I teleported exactly where we left off on in 1.17. So whenever the other chunks load, then we should get a general idea as to if this selling point is still here. And I can't tell. I honestly can't tell. It looks completely and totally different. Maybe we'll get a better sense of being underwater. And okay, it looks like we're getting some cave generation, but it looks as though the infinite ravine seems to be gone. It doesn't look like it's here inside the 1.18 generation. So yeah, I guess that's one major thing to look out for when loading into 1.18 worlds. But okay, that might have been just a little bit unfair, testing out the cave infinite ravine generation with brand new cave generation. Why don't we check out some other types of seeds that I've shown off before, particularly the pane in the glass seed. One, because, it'd be interesting to see how much the surface has changed, but also because I did check out to see the fact that in the 1.17 experimental toggle, we did get brand new types of mountains. So, will we get new mountains at spawn too, or will it look completely different? And very, very clearly, it seems to be extremely different at the spawn. We spawn right on top of a ruined portal, which we obviously didn't have before, but more importantly, it seems as though spawn has moved about 500 blocks in one direction. So maybe if we go back to the original spawn location, it'll look a little bit similar. I don't know. I'm not holding out too much hope, but I like to believe the best case scenario. And it seems as though on the way we are getting some of the new mountainous terrain, which I can't remember if I went this direction when I shut off the seed all that time ago, but it seems as though obviously some things have changed here. And this is roughly where the spawn was in 1.17, and very clearly, it's completely different. Completely and totally and utterly different. But I guess one thing I do want to check back in 1.17 is, will we get this ruined portal roughly at around 0-0, or will we get something different? Will just this not be here in the current full version? Alright, I'm flying to 0-0, and I'm not seeing too much evidence of any ruined portals yet. We do get the Desert Temple, and obviously so many different types of biomes, but okay, we're at 0-0, and wait a minute. We're actually, it's the exact same ruined portal. It's exactly the same ruined portal right here. So it seems as though certain things do happen to stick exactly where they are, such as ruined portals. We might get more ruined portals, we might get less ruined portals, but regardless of that, we do at least get some of the same ruined portals here and there. So if ruined portals stay in roughly at least the same X and Z coordinates, why don't we check out the seed I found, which basically broke bedrock. Yeah, but basically this is the spawn point. We spawn right around the forest. I'm not holding out hope that will be exactly the same when we check it out in 1.18, but yeah, basically about 200 blocks or so this way, we find ourselves a ravine and a ruined portal, which just so happened to spawn right in the center of the ravine, which just so happened to break bedrock. Yeah, you can't necessarily see it from right here, but if we go underneath the lava somewhere, we should be able to see it a little bit better. Probably with the fire resistance potion, if I'm honest, because you do see a little bit better with fire resistance. But yeah, then basically we see how certain blocks do get removed, making it possible to actually access the void with this ruined portal. Will it be in the exact same X and Y and Z coordinates? I'm not putting out hope for the Y coordinates, but let's see if this actually holds true and we get it in the exact same X and Z coordinates. And yep, as expected, spawn looks pretty much completely different. This almost looks like a completely different seed. We get a savanna, we get a jungle, and it looks like we get a village off in the distance, which I remember there were some villages not too far from spawn, but more to the point, let's see if this ruined portal spawned in at least roughly the same X and Z coordinates. Okay, we're pretty much at the exact coordinates, and I'm not seeing anything yet, but maybe there's something deep below, because they do tend to spawn like in different directions and in different locations, like what we see right here. So yeah, it looks as though the ruined portals, at least, are one of the few structures that seem to be saved from one version to another, despite its Y coordinate being just a little bit different than before. And also, I will say that it is kind of cool seeing some big dripstone biome caves right by that one ruined portal. So if you are checking this out in 1.18, then you do get some pretty decent biomes not too far from this ruined portal. So okay, we've proven the fact that ruined portals are pretty much safe. For the most part, they are going from one version to another and not moving around too incredibly much. But what about other types of structures? What about, say, I don't know, the Stronghold? What about, say, a double Stronghold seed, which I showed off a decent amount of time ago? But yeah, this one is actually a relatively decent distance away, but again, spawn right here, not expecting it to look exactly the same. But yeah, the more important thing is I am very curious to see if the Stronghold will look exactly the same, or the double Stronghold. But again, to give you a brief summary, here's the Stronghold right here, but not too far from this Stronghold room right here, we get ourselves another one, which is just this way a little bit down here, and then just over here. Yeah, 2 strongholds spawned in essentially the same place. Will this happen again in the betas? Only one way to find out. To be honest, after looking through 4 seeds so far, it shouldn't surprise me that the spawn still looks completely different. But surprisingly, after doing the /locate command, the stronghold, or at least one of them, seems to be in roughly the exact same place as before, which is kind of interesting. The big question, though, is will there be 2 strongholds there, or will there just be 1? Okay, I found one of the end portal rooms, and it seems as though actually the stronghold and the Eyes of Ender and everything seem to be exactly the same. But the bigger question is, will we get the second stronghold room in in roughly the same place? And okay, it actually, it's not looking like it. It's not looking like I'm finding the other stronghold room. I have dug to exactly where the other stronghold should be, and yeah, it's not looking like it's here, and that is actually very, very interesting. One stronghold stayed exactly the same, exactly where it used to spawn in 1.17, but the other one is just completely gone, completely missing. So I don't know. I really don't know. Will strongholds stay the same, or will they be different? That's kind of hard to say, like, because we do get one that looks essentially the exact same, but then we get one that's just not even here anymore, so it's really, really hard to say right now. Actually, I'm gonna check one more place, and that is below the normal terrain, because, you know, we do get the extra 64 blocks below, so maybe there's a chance of it spawning below, and yeah, I'm not having much hope with that either, so yeah, just one of the strongholds is completely missing, while the other one is still here. So I guess in certain seeds you will still get the exact same stronghold placement, but in other seeds and other strongholds you might get completely different ones. But what I can say for certain is the fact that almost every single seed and almost every single world and every single thing will look exactly completely different to 1.17 to 1.18. So if there's any seed in particular that you'd like to see before time runs out and using it, then use it now. Use it before everything changes. I have plenty of different types of seeds which are really, really good inside of 1.17 and would be just as good inside of 1.18. But yeah, for now, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all later.